when you stop teaching tradition, then you're going to lose the Marine Corps. When you stop teaching tradition in the SEALs or Green Berets, whatever it is, you're going to lose that guy's ability to jump on a grenade or jump on a Constantine wire. Because check it out. The only reason why you're so badass in the Marines or SEALs or SF is that there are brothers that went before you and did incredible things. And so in combat, you remember Dan Daly, Smedley Butler, how they stood up in the Battle of Bellewood in Tufel. I got Tufel tattooed on my chest right here. Devil dog. It means satanic possessed dog. The Germans gave it to the Marines because they were covered in withering hell of gunfire. The machine guns had cut the grass like a lawnmower. They said all the grass was cut down. There was so much hell of fire from the Germans, from the wood line in the Battle of Bellewood in France in World War I. And at one point, they were all going to die, all the Marines. And this is really where the Marines got their name. And Dan Daly stood up. He was a sergeant at the time, battle-hardened dude. And he stood up in the withering fire. And he said, "Come on, you sons of bitches. Do you want to live forever?" And everybody saw that. And they were like, he's right. We're going to freaking die here, man. That's been the story of my life. You're going to freaking die here if you don't get up and do something today and go for it. And that's exactly what the Marines did. And they went hand to hand on those dudes in the Germans, and they beat their skulls in with helmets and K-bars, the Marines that survived the horrible charge. And they charged the machine gun nest that day. And from that point on, the Germans were so terrified of the Marines that they called them devil dogs, Teufelhund, satanic possessed dog. And so that tradition is just ingrained in you. A lot of the classes in the Marine Corps were talking about Medal of Honor winners, guys that jumped on grenades. Dan Daly, Smedley Butler, Chesty Puller. Good. We're surrounded on all sides. So my core values, my traditions came from the Marine Corps. I love that stuff. I ate it up, brother. I'm telling you right now. I know that, it's not possible to say whether or not I would jump on a grenade or not, right? I always thought about that. Would I? But if it really came down to it back in the day, maybe not now, but back when I was a Marine, 0311 infantry guy, dude, if a grenade fell in my hole, we'd be fighting to jump on. We'd be fighting each other to death, just trying to roll on that sucker, man. We'd be charging machine guns, whatever it took, man. My squad in the Marines, and I know there's a lot of Marines out there right now listening to your awesome podcast that are going to be like, yeah, super fun, brother. I like this guy. You know what I mean? Because it's a core traditions and values. Now, the SEALs do that too. On the island, San Clemente Island, you see all the old UDT SEALs on the walls, drinking torpedo juice, covering themselves in black oil, before they would go and put bombs on the Jap scullies. Nobody was coming back from that. You were dying in cold, frigid water. And man, seeing those pictures of the last pictures of those guys smoking a cigarette, drinking their torpedo juice, sliding in the water with their satchel charges, about to blow up Jap scullies on the beach, man, for the Marines landing. That stuff right there, it just sinks in you. Then you hear about Murphy and all these different heroes in the SEALs, and you embody that. But going back to your question, that is the only thing that keeps the midnight fuel burning in a warrior, is the remembrance of the warriors that came before him, the brothers, his older brothers.
I gotta say, yeah, no, that's phenomenal. I mean, even the way that you're able to just hit those names and shit, it just shows like that had that really meant something to you guys, and like that
exactly like when I say Day and Daly, Smedley Butler, Chesty Puller, all these Archibald Henderson, all these guys' names, right? As I say them right now, anybody that's a Marine that's listening right now, they're gonna be like, boom, boom, boom. I love it. Their memories are gonna flood into their mind. And that's the whole purpose of it, perhaps. And I will say this too. The best SEALs that I ever knew were prior Marines. Now about 4 Marines go a year and try out to buds, and 2 make it. So 50%. The Marines that I knew, bro, and I'm not tooting my own horn here, okay? Yeah, maybe excluding me here. But no, the Marines that I knew in the platoons and the SEALs, man, were just phenomenal. Mike Drum, Brett Allen Merrihew, all these guys, man, super, like because they had that, they didn't have the prima donna attitude, which you see a lot, you know, because if you're too young and you make it through buds, dude, it goes to your head, bro. And those guys are so rare, and then they make it, and they think, man, I'm really something, bro. You know, I'm big shot. You know,
I'm that guy
until they get knocked out. You know what I mean? by other platoon members. But the Marines do very, very well in the SEALs because they have that experience. They have those core values, and so they always really transition well.
Like we were talking about, I think one of the key characteristics of a Navy SEAL, at least in the interviews that I've done and just my own research, is you have to be the ultimate team guy. You got to be all about the guys around you, making sure you have the back of those around you. And it seems like, because this is like, you know, all the different levels in the military all kind of feed off each other. And it's really interesting. It's the first time we really on the podcast dove into Marine training. Again, it seems like that ultimate building of like, you guys get your shit rocked, but it's that type of thing where it's so shitty, everyone becomes so close because you're like, God, we're going through this shit together. And that type of guy in a SEAL setting, it's the perfect teammate because you know he's the guy that'll jump on the grenade type of deal, you know?
Yeah, because think about it. In the Marines, it's instant obedience to orders. The drill instructors say click, you say eyeballs, you know, freeze, recruit, freeze, you're freeze, you know. And the reason why that is if we're in combat and I tell my buddy, I'm like, yo, get down. He doesn't say what, bro? Like a SEAL will go like, what do you mean? You know, but a Marine, he's gonna go, I'm down. And a bullet whizzes by, you know, because you just saw a guy shooting, you know, and that's the reason for it. It's instant obedience to orders. Now in the teams, you got to think outside the box. You got to they really encourage and cultivate a community of outside thinker guys, you know, and that plays an awesome role because the SEALs have incredible funding. That's what makes you tier 2, tier 1, all that stuff. But they have incredible funding, right? And when you have that kind of funding, and then but you don't have a blueprint book for a mission. Like when you're given a mission in the SEALs, you basically come up with the solution.
Yeah, you get strategizing and discussing.
Yeah. It's not like that in the Marines. It's more like the top echelon are making the solution. No, you come up with a solution. And if you're a junior guy, I'm a senior guy, or vice versa, and you have an awesome idea, it better be damn good if you're a junior guy. But if you have a great idea, they may go with your idea, you know, to change things up and do it. It's all about mission success, man.
Interesting. So jumping in, then you get through the hell that is boot camp, and you're going into your first, you know, deployment as a Marine. What was that first deployment like?
First Marine, I was with First Marines. I went to School of Infantry, and then I went to First Marines. A lot of hazing went on.
I got. Are you able to speak to that?
Huh?
Are you able to speak to that hazing?
Yeah, man. This is a lot of like cleaning your toilet with half a grapefruit, and then they force you to eat it. I would say that's pretty freaking nasty. That's pretty much hazing, okay? You know, or rubbing boot polish on your balls. That's pretty bad. But they're always making you clean. You know, with all these different chemicals, and you got a gas mask on. You feel like you're gonna die all the time cleaning. You know, and stuff like that. But my first deployment. I was in trouble for the first 40 days of it. I did something weird. But they gave me 40 days and nights in the scullery, in the chow hall, scrubbing pots and pans. Bro, this thing is ran on these ships. It's ran by like the Japanese, like the mafia. I can't remember what they call them. No, the Filipino mafia. And it's these Filipino guys that are pretty much running the chow hall on these big ships in the Navy. And they're like barking orders at you, clean dish now. And you're just like, oh my God, bro. You feel like you're in a prison camp. And